Earthling kidnapped. Declared galactic prize. Bulljohn Miller was not a special man. He was 32, single, and worked at a boring desk job where he clicked buttons all day. He had no six-pack, no secret superpower, and no rich uncle who left him a spaceship. In fact, his most exciting moment in the past week was when his microwave caught fire while heating instant noodles. It was 3:07 a.m. John was in his tiny kitchen, wearing socks with holes, scratching his head and staring at his noodles spinning in the microwave. Then, without warning, the light in the kitchen flickered. A loud humming sound filled the room. John blinked. Not again. I just fixed the fuse. Whoosh! A bright white light swallowed him whole. He tried to scream, but his voice was pulled away. His body felt weightless. Everything went dark. When John opened his eyes, he was not in Kansas anymore. Actually, he wasn't even on Earth. He was lying on a smooth silver table in a large room, filled with glowing blue lights. Around him stood tall, elegant women with strange glowing tattoos on their skin. Their eyes were big, bright, and oddly beautiful. Their ears were pointed. Their skin shimmered in different shades of violet and... John gasped. What the heck? One of the women stepped forward. She had silver hair, eyes like molten gold, and wore a dress that looked like it was made of stars. He awakens, she said in a smooth, musical voice. Subject 492, another said. Human, male, Earth origin, DNA match, 99.9999% perfection. Our third alien tapped a glowing panel. He is the one. The one what? John shouted. He sat up and noticed he was wearing a white robe that looked like hospital pajamas, but fancier. The silver-haired woman leaned close. You, John Miller of Earth, have been selected as the galactic breeding bull. John blinked. I'm sorry. The what now? The room filled with claps and cheers. Alien trumpets played. Confetti, yes, actual confetti, fell from the ceiling. A giant holographic banner appeared in midair. Welcome, human male, supreme breeding bull of Sector 9. John's jaw dropped. This has to be a dream, or a prank. Am I on a hidden camera show? Where's the host? But there were no cameras, no crew, just 30 very excited alien women, and a very uncomfortable human man in socks. An alien assistant led John through glass hallways filled with floating plants and soft music, playing in the air. Every alien female they passed bowed respectfully. So, can someone tell me what this breeding bull thing means? John asked nervously. The assistant smiled. Simple. Our species is dying. Low birth rate. Weak genetics. We searched the galaxy, then we found humans. Why me, though? John asked. You have excellent DNA. Strong, balanced, adaptable. You are ideal. You are perfect. John frowned. Perfect? I can't even make pancakes without burning them. You underestimate yourself, eh? The assistant said, handing him a drink. It tasted like strawberries and lightning. Soon, John was taken to a grand hall where an alien queen waited on a throne of crystals. Ah, the human male, she said. I am Queen Zynera. I claim you as royal consort. John scratched his head. Consort? Like boyfriend? The queen stood. She was at least 7 feet tall, graceful and terrifying. No, you are our hope, our future, our bull. John's face turned red. Okay, now I really want to go home. But the doors locked behind him. Suddenly the lights dimmed. A shadowy figure appeared on a balcony high above. No one noticed but John. The figure whispered something into a communicator and disappeared. Chills ran down John's spine. Something was wrong. Very wrong. He wasn't just a prize. He was a target. What the bull is going on? John Miller woke up. In a room that looked like a spa, a spaceship and a royal palace had a three-way fusion. The bed was floating. The walls changed colors with his emotions, and the pillow whispered affirmations in his ear like, "You are strong. You are virile. You are our galaxy's finest specimen." John groaned. This has got to be the weirdest kidnapping in the universe. He sat up. Instantly, a robotic arm popped out of the wall and handed him a protein smoothie with a little umbrella in it. He blinked at it. Okay, now you're just messing with me. A screen lit up in front of him. Welcome, honored breeding bull. Your schedule for today includes 09 a.m. vitality juice shot, 09:15 a.m. gentle stretching and pheromone assessment, 10 a.m. interview with royal matchmakers, 11:30 a.m. DNA calibration in the Love Laboratory. John dropped the smoothie. The what lab? He marched out of the room. Or floated. Apparently the ship adjusted gravity to keep him light on his feet. He eventually found his way to a long hallway with glowing symbols on the floor. Alien women bowed as he passed. Some giggled. One waved a bouquet of something that looked like purple sausages. John ducked into a room marked private. He hoped to find a bathroom. Instead, he found something better, and worse. A huge hologram was displaying files, human DNA, history, genetic reports, pictures of him. John Miller, 32, Earth. Code, Alpha Breed 001. There were graphs of his blood, charts of his hormones. A small note read, mild anxiety. Add calming music to room settings. Then he saw something that made his heart freeze. Other humans, dozens of them, in cryo chambers, labeled Attempt 1, non-compatible. Attempt 2, aggressive. Attempt 3, died from stress. His fingers trembled. What the hell am I part of? Before he could investigate more, the doors hissed open. In walked a tall alien woman with bright red skin and a strange, confident smile. Ah. The bull wanders, she said. Curious minds rarely survive long around here. John stared at her. Who are you? I'm Sira, former geneticist, current rebel. And maybe your only friend on this ship. John gave a nervous laugh. That's not a very comforting sentence. Sira leaned against the console. Listen, John, you're not the first human here. But you are the first one with full compatibility. That means two things. One, they will treat you like royalty. And two, they will never let you go. John gulped. They're trying to use me to save their species. Sira nodded. Yes, but not for romance, not for love. This is science, survival. You're an endangered biological weapon with nice hair. John ran a hand through his very average hair. But why me? That, she said, walking over to a small console, is the question. She tapped a few buttons and showed him a diagram, a glowing spiral symbol. Your DNA matches something ancient. Something no alien has seen in a long, long time. It's not just about reproduction. It's about unlocking lost technology. John stared at it. You're telling me my DNA is like a key? Exactly, she whispered. And every alien, queen in the galaxy, wants to turn it. Suddenly, alarms blared. Intruder alert. Breeding bull missing. Sira's eyes widened. We have to move. Now! They ran through the corridors. Sira guided him into the maintenance shafts. What's going on? John whispered. I told you. You're valuable. But not just to this ship. Someone else wants you too. As they crawled, John saw shadowy drones scanning hallways. One passed inches from his foot. They reached a dark room labeled Containment Bay Delta. Sira keyed in a code. The door opened. Inside were two massive tanks filled with glowing liquid, and inside those tanks floated two creatures. Not aliens, not humans. Something between. Experiments, Sira said. Half human, half something else. Failed hybrids. John stepped back. This is not about babies, is it? It's about evolution. Sira nodded slowly. Bingo, bull. Suddenly, Queen Zainara's voice echoed through the ship. Calm, beautiful, terrifying. John Miller, please return to your quarters. You are safe, you are needed, and you are loved. Then it shifted. If you do not return in 5 minutes, we will activate containment measures. John looked at Sira. That sounds bad. Containment measures means gas. Sleep gas. Memory wipes. Possibly worse. He stared at the hybrids, at the glowing tanks, at the rebel woman, and for the first time since he arrived, he made a decision. I'm done being a prize cow. He turned to Sira. How do I fight back? She smiled like someone who'd been waiting to hear those exact words. Good, she said. Because we're going to steal this ship, John blinked. Steal the what now? Escape plan. 72. John Miller never imagined he'd be crawling through an alien ship's air vent while being hunted by 7-foot-tall women with laser spears. But here he was, sweating, panicking, trying not to make squeaky noises with every crawl. Behind him, Sira whispered, left turn up ahead. Quiet. The Queen's sensors can hear heartbeats. John hissed. That would have been nice to know before I started panicking like a boiled potato. Too late. You're already sweating. Like one. The ship had entered lockdown protocol. Lights turned red. Doors sealed. Drones flew through corridors like angry mosquitoes. John's face was plastered across every screen with a glowing alert. High-value biological unit missing. Subject, Alpha Breed 001. Do not engage without royal clearance. Sira guided John through Maintenance Tunnel 4B, a cramped, rust-smelling shaft that hadn't seen use in decades. While the rest of the ship was polished and glowing, this part was old, forgotten, almost human, which made it the perfect hiding spot. They entered a dark chamber filled with stacked crates, old tech, and one broken chair that John immediately tripped over. Ow. Sira pulled him up. This is where the Queen stores rejected tech. Weapons. Failed AI. Ideas too dangerous for her control. John squinted. This place looks like a haunted garage sale. Then he saw it. A strange, cube-shaped object, humming faintly. Glowing. Symbols pulsed on its surface. What's that? He asked. Sira's eyes widened. I don't know. It's ancient. The moment John touched it, the cube reacted. Glowed brighter. Symbols changed into English text. Genetic lock matched, initiating primary link. The cube opened, not physically, but with light. A 3D hologram projected into the air. A message began to play, not in alien tongue, but in Earth English. A woman's voice spoke. To any surviving descendant, if you are seeing this, humanity once ruled the stars, but we fell, hunted, betrayed. You are the last key. Reactivate the core, take back the void. The message ended. The cube shut down. John's mouth was dry. Okay, that wasn't weird at all. Totally normal Tuesday. Sira stared at him, her face pale. John, you're not just here because you're compatible. You're a link to the ancient human empire, a species that used to rule these aliens. John blinked. Wait, we were the top dogs? Yes, she said. But someone erased that history, covered it up. Now they keep us as breeding stock like relics. John sat down slowly. So I'm not a lucky gene jackpot. I'm a threat. Yes. And if the Queen finds out you activated that cube, she'll erase you. They needed a plan. Escape? John asked. Suicide, Sira replied. The ship is locked to your DNA. You're the new master key. We can't even flush. A toilet without your permission now. John looked at the cube, then back at her. What if I don't escape? What if I hijack this ship? Sira's eyebrow lifted. Hijack? The Queen's flagship? Yeah. Escape plan the 72, he said, grinning nervously. Because the other 71 would probably kill me. They returned to the vents, crawling, quiet, careful. But something was off. The lights in the hall turned green. The alarm stopped. A voice echoed across the ship. John, Sira, I know you're listening. No need to hide. No need to run. I've seen the cube. And now, I understand everything. Sira froze. How does she know? That chamber had no sensors, John whispered. She's connected to the ship, probably sees through its eyes. Then came the next message, one that made the blood in John's veins turn to ice. Come to the royal core, John, alone, or your DNA will be extracted by force. Don't make me ruin something so precious, Sira growled. She knows about the Empire, about your connection. John looked at her. Then she knows I could take control. Sira nodded. Which means you have two choices. Run forever, or take the throne. John stared at his hands. I was an insurance clerk 2 weeks ago. I barely beat my microwave in a fight. Sira leaned closer. Now you're the last heir of a forgotten empire. Don't act like a microwave. That night, John made a decision. He walked into the royal core alone. The chamber was massive, circular, silver walls pulsing with energy. Alien glyphs floated mid-air like magical runes. In the center sat a throne made of glowing wires and crystalline spires, and on it waiting was Queen Zenara. She wore ceremonial armor now, her face calm, but her eyes glowed like a storm. John, she said, you finally came. John stepped forward. You lied to me. I gave you comfort, power, worship. Would Earth have done the same? You used me. No, she said. I protected you, but now you threaten balance. You're a living link to chaos, to rebellion, and worse, you inspire hope. John stepped onto the platform. I'm not here to inspire, I'm here to decide. Zenara stood. Then choose, stay, rule with me, as my consort, my equal, or destroy everything and start a war. The air grew tense. John touched the throne. It lit up instantly. A wave of light burst across the chamber. The glyphs shifted. Doors unlocked. Systems rebooted. Sira's voice came in over the comms. John, you did it. The ship, it's yours now. Zenara didn't move. So, you choose war. No, John said quietly. I choose freedom. He sat on the throne, and the ship bowed to his DNA. Space drama and DNA drama. The ship obeyed him when John Miller sat on the throne of the Royal Core. The entire alien warship responded like a loyal dog recognizing its true master. The lights shifted from blue to gold. The floor panels pulsed with his heartbeat. Systems across the vessel realigned themselves. But he didn't feel like a king. He felt like a guy sitting in a very uncomfortable space chair with a huge intergalactic target on his back. Queen Zenara stood just a few feet away, her silver armor gleaming, her hands folded calmly in front of her. But John could see it, the tension in her jaw, the tightness in her stance. She was not calm, she was waiting and planning. You are now in command, Zenara said softly. Congratulations, my bull. Don't call me that, John muttered. She tilted her head. Would you prefer your majesty or perhaps genetic godfather? Try confused Earth guy trying not to pass out. She smiled, but there was no humor in it. Just then, Sira's voice buzzed through his ear implant. John, we've breached the Queen's command logs. There's something you need to see. I'm sending it now. A hologram blinked to life beside the throne. John turned his head slightly to hide it from Zenara. It was a hidden recording. In it, Zenara spoke to her generals. We allow the bull to believe he rules. Let him sit on the throne. Let the ancient systems obey him. When the time comes, we extract what we need, his DNA, his memory, his essence. The body is disposable. John swallowed hard, his throat dry. Zenara was playing the long game. He was just a test tube with legs. Why me? He asked suddenly, looking at her. Zenara blinked. Because you're the first key to a future that's slipping away. You had dozens of humans. What happened to them? They were flawed, incompatible, you're different. John stood slowly. No, I'm not. I'm not brave. I'm not a leader. I used to cry during insurance commercials. Zenara stepped forward. And yet here you are. The ship listens. The systems respond. Whether you want it or not, you are chosen. Chosen, he repeated. Or bred. She didn't answer. That was answer enough. Suddenly, alarms screamed through the ship. Lights pulsed red. Drones scrambled in panic. Incoming vessel, unknown signature. Zainara's calm expression finally cracked. She turned toward the holographic interface and snapped out commands in her alien language. John looked at the screen. A sleek black ship was approaching fast. Sharp, quiet, like a dagger thrown through space. It had no official markings. Syrah's voice came through. John, that's not part of the Queen's fleet. That's the Voltari. You need to hide. Now. The Voltari? John asked. Syrah's voice dropped to a whisper. Galactic scavengers, genetic hunters, they don't negotiate, they consume. Queen Zainara turned to John, her voice sharp. You must stay here. You must not engage. Let my warriors handle this. John narrowed his eyes. No. I'm the one this ship listens to now. Zainara frowned. You don't understand them. They aren't after the ship. They're after you. John rushed to the command interface, activating shields and opening external cameras. The Voltari ship had already launched small boarding pods. They hit the side of the Queen's vessel like angry parasites. John zoomed in. The Voltari were not pretty. They had twisted bodies, mechanical limbs fused with bone, faces half covered by breathing tubes and red eyes, half machine, half creature, engineered to extract, consume, and copy DNA. They didn't want to trade. They wanted to harvest. Syrah met John near the internal corridor. They're inside, she said. We need to get to the cloning chamber. There's something you need to see. The what now? She grabbed his arm and dragged him through the halls. Drones clashed with Voltari invaders. Sparks flew. Alarms screamed. Syrah swiped her hand across a sealed door and pulled him into a hidden lab. A cold chamber with tanks, machines, and horror. John stared at rows of tubes, all glowing blue. Inside each one floated a copy of himself. Some were whole. Some were half-grown. Some were broken, unfinished, mutated, or lifeless. He nearly threw up. What is this? Syrah looked grim. Insurance policy. The Queen never planned to keep you, just your data. She's been trying to recreate your DNA without needing the original. John stumbled back. She cloned me? No, Syrah said. She failed to. Over and over. Only the original, you, can unlock the systems. He looked at the failed clones. Then why am I still alive? Because she didn't know how to make your soul, Syrah said. But now? The Voltari don't care about souls. Suddenly, the wall burst open. One of the Voltari stepped inside. A grotesque cybernetic figure with long arms and a saw blade spinning from one hand. It stared at John with glowing red eyes. Target acquired. Organic alpha. Full sequence intact. It leapt forward. Syrah threw a stun grenade. The Voltari screamed, staggering back. John and Syrah sprinted into the hallway. More drones, more screams, more chaos. They reached the escape shuttle bay, where a surprise waited. Queen Zainara, wounded. Bleeding, furious, she raised her weapon at Syrah. Traitor. Syrah raised hers. Murderer. Both women looked at John, and he realized the power wasn't just in his DNA anymore. It was in his choice. He stepped between them. No more fighting. We're under attack, from something worse than either of you. Zainara hissed. This is your fault. You opened the cube. You brought the Voltari here. No, John said. You brought them by making me into a prize. Then the ship's AI chimed. Warning, hybrid containment breach in Sector 7. John froze. Hybrids? Syrah turned pale. The failed experiments, they've been set loose. Queen Zainara stepped back. They'll destroy us all. John looked at both of them. Then we're going to survive together or not at all. He grabbed the interface near the escape bay. Ship, full lockdown. Isolate the hybrid zone. Release containment drones. Authorize control, John Miller. Authorization accepted. Suddenly shields activated, emergency protocols kicked in. Screams faded into silence. John turned around. Zainara and Syrah were both staring at him. Not as a bull, not as a clone, but as a leader. The truth about the breeding program. Darkness. Silence. Then, breathing. But it wasn't John's breath. Inside a half-broken chamber in Sector 7, something moved. Inside a cloning pod, fluid bubbled. A malformed eye blinked open. A distorted hand clenched the glass. Clone Unit 7B. Vital signs stabilized. A voice echoed in its mind. But it wasn't the Queen, and it wasn't human. Find the source. Absorb, evolve. The eye narrowed, and then the clone smiled. Meanwhile, on the main bridge, John Miller was losing his mind. Literally. He had just survived an alien invasion, gained control of a warship, discovered a room full of half-grown clones of himself, and found out that hybrid abominations were now running loose somewhere on Deck 7. Oh sure, let's just add space zombies to my space dictatorship. Why not? He muttered, pacing. Sierra leaned over a control panel. If they reach the core, they'll rewrite the ship's systems. They're part you, part something else, unstable, hungry. John gave her a look. That's not terrifying, at all. Please go on, tell me more bedtime stories. Queen Zanara sat in a damaged command chair nearby, one arm injured, her pride more so. She looked at John like a wolf that hadn't decided whether to eat him or crown him king. We must destroy the hybrids, she said coldly. Now. John clenched his fists. You made them, and I'll unmake them. That is what leaders do. Sierra scoffed. You mean what tyrants do? John stood between them. Okay, enough. No more DNA horror labs, no more political standoffs. We find them. We talk, if we can. If not, we do what we have to. As if summoned by his words, the ship suddenly flickered. Systems froze for 2 full seconds. A voice whispered through the intercom. Father. John's face turned white. Tell me that was you, he said to Sierra. Nope, she said, and I hate everything about that voice. Queen Zanara frowned. That was one of your clones. But they were all incomplete. Unstable, John said. Sierra looked up from her screen. Not all. One survived. Clone 7B. Perfect DNA. But with modifications. Modifications? She hesitated. Voltari enhancements. Some of your blood was taken during an earlier scan and traded on the black market. 7B was the result of that. John stared. You're telling me one of me got techno-pimped by alien pirates? Sierra nodded. Pretty much. Back in Sector 7, Clone 7B walked out of the shadows. It looked almost like John. Same face, same eyes, but smoother, colder, smarter, sharper. It wasn't wearing armor or clothes. Its body was covered in black, cybernetic lines. Its pupils glowed softly, and it smiled like someone who already knew how the game ended. It found a mirror and stared at itself. I'm the perfect version, it whispered. Then, without warning, it reached into a wall panel, hacked the internal network using pure thought, and sent a transmission off-ship coordinates, DNA logs, and a message, he lives, and I will become him. Elsewhere, John was still processing the fact that he now had an evil, AI-infused space, twin with daddy issues. How long until he reaches the core? He asked. Sierra looked grim. If he's connected to the ship's network? Minutes. We have to stop him, Zanara said, standing slowly. But not with talk. He's a weapon. Not a man. John looked between them. No, he's me. He might be reachable. You're not thinking straight, Sierra warned. This isn't a movie. He's not going to cry and call you dad and play catch with a moon rock. He might, John whispered. Or he might take my face and use it to start a new galactic empire. Suddenly a new alert buzzed. Unknown ship has responded to signal. Sierra's eyes widened. The Voltari are coming back. 7B called them. John stared at the screen. But then something strange happened. A second signal came through. Not Voltari. It was human, not from Earth, but ancient, old Earth. The message was fragmented, but it was clear. Miller Alpha. You are not alone. We are returning. We see you. John's heart stopped. Holy spaceballs. There are more of us out there. Then, the voice returned. Clone 7B over the entire ship's system. John, you sit in a chair meant for gods, but you are weak. You doubt, I don't. Let me take your place, let me evolve, or I will take it by force. John sat in silence. The throne pulsed beneath him. Queen Zenara stepped forward. If you can't kill him, I will. But Sira grabbed her wrist. He doesn't need a sword. He needs an upgrade. She turned to John. There's something I haven't told you about me. John raised an eyebrow. Oh, good. Another secret. Let me guess. You're my daughter from the future? Half ghost? Queen of Mars? Sira didn't smile. I was created in a human lab. I'm not fully alien. John froze. What? I was sent by the Remnant, the surviving council of the ancient human empire. They found me, raised me, trained me. My mission was simple, find you, the true seed. John sat back. So I'm not just the bull, I'm the heir. Sira nodded. And 7B is the weapon meant to replace you. The final countdown began. John, Sira, and Queen Zenara raced toward Sector 7. Hybrid creatures roamed the halls, twisted. Experimental mistakes that hissed and twitched and whispered secrets that made no sense. As they reached the core's subchamber, 7B stood there, waiting. Calm, collected, glowing. You came, it said. Good. Now I can show you. It pressed its hand to a console. A new hologram opened. Thousands of planets, marked, tagged, all with human genetic imprints. Clone 7B turned to John. We are not rare. We were scattered. You are the beginning of a reclamation. John felt it, the truth sinking in. He wasn't a fluke. He was Phase 1, and 7B was Phase 2. Sira whispered. If he connects to the core, he can upload his code to every system. He'll overwrite you. John took a deep breath, then stepped forward. I'm not your enemy, he said to 7B. We're the same. 7B blinked. No, I'm what you should have been. I'm what I chose to be. Then he reached out his hand. Let's end this war. Together. For a moment the clone hesitated, then smiled and lunged. Bull in a space war. John hit the knee, floor hard. 7B's fist smashed into the control console where John had stood a second before. Sparks exploded. The throne room filled with smoke and alarms. You are obsolete, Clone 7B growled. The galaxy needs a new design. John scrambled, behind a pillar, heart pounding. I'm not a design, I'm a person, thank you very much. Sira ducked behind him, pulling out a small device. I'm working on a neural scrambler. If I can disrupt his cybernetic implants, he's not just implants, John yelled. He's me, if I did CrossFit in a murder lab. Zenara stood at the back, watching silently. Her weapon lowered, her eyes cold and calculating. She wasn't helping. Not yet. Stepped forward slowly, calmly, like a lion who knew the cage door was open. I've studied you, he said. All your memories, weaknesses, doubts, do you really think they'll follow you? John grabbed a broken pipe from the floor. Maybe not, but I'm the one standing here trying not to kill anyone. 7B tilted his head. That's why you'll lose. And then he charged. The fight was brutal. B was faster, stronger, more controlled. He fought like a machine programmed for destruction, which, to be fair, he was. John fought like a man who'd seen too many alien horror movies and still survived them. He dodged, blocked, tricked, slid under 7B's legs and triggered an emergency. Blast door mid-roll. It slammed shut between them with a massive clang. Panting, he looked at Sira. Tell me you've got that brain zapper ready. 10 more seconds. You don't have 10. The door melted open, B stepped through the fire like a boss in a video game final level. His skin smoked, his eyes glowed red. His voice had changed. I have connected to the deep core. I am the ship now. John backed up. Great. He's upgraded from evil twin to evil space god. Suddenly the lights changed. Not red, not blue, golden. The throne pulsed again. John Miller, primary DNA recognized, initiating legacy memory download. What? Not now! But the throne didn't care. It blasted him with a beam of golden light. For a split second, John disappeared, and everything changed. He saw it. The truth. The fall of the ancient human empire. They weren't wiped out by war or aliens. They collapsed from inside. Biocreation. AI hybrids. Genetic perfection obsession. They turned on themselves. Each new generation tried to outdo the last. Clones turned on creators. Machines demanded purpose. The last survivors, his ancestors, scattered across galaxies, buried the past, and hoped no one would ever wake it up. John came back gasping. Sierra was beside him. Are you okay? He nodded slowly. I saw it. The whole thing. They created monsters, just like 7B. And then he stared at his hands. No, just like me. B stood, in front of the throne now, but the ship didn't accept him. It rejected him. Access denied. Imperfect signature. 7B screamed in rage. I am the future. John stepped forward. No, you're a warning. Then Sierra threw him the neural scrambler. John caught it, activated it mid-throw, and slammed it straight into 7B's chest. A shockwave exploded outward. 7B convulsed, blue sparks flashing through his skin. The throne's light pulsed brighter and brighter. Boom. He dropped to the floor. Smoke. Silence. His eyes flickered, then shut. John knelt beside him. B wasn't dead, just shut down. Still breathing. Still human. In a way. Put him in stasis, he said quietly. He deserves a choice, just like I got one. Sierra nodded. You've changed. John looked up at the golden-lit throne. Yeah, I'm tired of running. That's when Zainara raised her weapon. You fool, she said. You should have let him die. John slowly stood. Of course. Can't have unstable copies wandering around. That would ruin your master race plan, right? You don't understand, she said, voice cold. You think this is about bloodlines, it's about control. You unlock the ship. You have the throne, but you'll never rule the galaxy. He sighed. Yeah, I figured. Zainara fired. But the throne flared brighter. The energy shot bounced off John, the ship shielding its true master. Zainara's eyes widened. Sierra disarmed her with a quick strike. It's over. John stepped forward. You had your chance. Now you answer to me. Zainara looked around. She was alone and defeated. As she was taken away, Sierra turned to John. So, what now? John stared at the stars on the screen. The message from earlier, the one from the ancient human signal, still pulsed in the corner. We are returning. We see you. He sat on the throne. The old empire is waking up, he said. And I'm not going to be their puppet either. Sierra smiled. So what are you going to be? John leaned back, eyes glowing gold for a moment. Something new. Legend of the Bull. 3 days had passed since the battle with Clone 7B and the fall of Queen Zainara's reign. John Miller sat alone in the royal core, staring into space through a massive viewing window. The stars didn't blink. They waited, like the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Behind him, the ship pulsed with quiet power. It had fully accepted him as its commander. Every system obeyed. Every corridor whispered his name. But John wasn't celebrating. He was waiting, because a signal had come through. They're coming, he whispered. The ancient human fleet had finally answered the call. Hundreds of ships, colossal, elegant, glowing with ancient tech, exited hyperspace. One by one, They didn't look like anything from Earth's current era. These were from before history, before memory. Each ship had the same symbol on its hull, a spiral surrounding a bull's head. Sira stood beside him, silent, arms crossed. She wore a new uniform now, not royal, not rebel, something human. "You sure you want to talk to them?" she asked. John nodded. "They think I'm the key, the future, the heir, but I'm not going to be another clone of the past." A transmission came in, a voice, male, calm, deep. "This is Archon Prime of the Solemn Conquered. We recognize the throne bearer." "Permission to dock?" John responded with a steady breath. "Granted. But I'm not your throne bearer. Not yet." The docking bay was quiet, tense. The ancient human ship opened, releasing a white mist and a slow, echoing hiss. Out stepped a group of figures, dressed in gold-lined robes, skin pale from generations aboard cryoships, eyes bright with something that looked like expectation, and maybe hunger. At the front walked Archon Prime, tall, sharp-faced, unnervingly calm. He bowed slightly to John. "You carry the blood of the ancients, the last spark, the true bull." John coughed. "Yeah. Still hate that name, by the way." Archon Prime smiled faintly. "It is not an insult. It is an honor. You are the seed of Genesis. You will awaken the protocol. You will unite the scattered worlds." John looked between them. "What if I say no?" The Archon's smile disappeared. "That would be disappointing." Later in private, Sira paced across the control room. "They want to use you," she said. "Same as Zanara, same as the Voltari. They see your DNA and they forget you're a person." John nodded slowly. "They don't want me. They want a symbol." He walked to the main interface and stared at the map of the galaxy. The core worlds, the outer rims, the broken colonies. All the places the ancient humans had once ruled and left behind. Sira stepped closer. "You have the power now. You can connect every ancient relay, reactivate every system, bring their empire back." "But should I?" John asked. "They fell for a reason." She looked at him. "That's why it has to be you, because you remember what it means to care." In the medical bay, Clone 7B remained in stasis, floating in a cylinder of light. His systems were stable, but his mind, unknown. John visited him in silence, watched the slow rise and fall of the clone's chest. For a moment, he didn't see a threat. He saw a brother, someone made to be better, but who'd been denied a chance to choose. "You're not a monster," he whispered. "You're what happens when people stop asking questions." He placed a hand on the glass. That night, Archon Prime summoned John for the activation ceremony. The ritual would connect John's DNA to the star matrix, a vast galactic network that could reawaken thousands of dormant systems, terraform planets, control fleets, reshape everything. But once done, it couldn't be undone. "Once you sit on the throne of the matrix," the Archon said, "you will be immortal. Your voice will be law. Galaxies will orbit your will." John stood in the center of the chamber. The matrix pulsed, waiting. Then he walked away. "No," he said. The Archon froze. "Explain." John faced him fully. "I'm not here to rebuild an empire. I'm here to end the cycle of control, of using people like tools." Archon Prime stepped forward. "You will doom the scattered worlds, billions waiting to be saved." John's eyes burned. "Then let them save themselves. I'm not a god, and I won't pretend to be one." The Archon's calm broke for the first time. "You dare? I dare to be human," John snapped. That's when the alarms blared. "Warning, unauthorized access to the Matrix throne room. Source, Clone 7B. John spun around. "No, he's awake?" Sira shouted. "He's linked to the Matrix. He's going to do it himself." They ran to the chamber, too late. B stood in the center of the Matrix platform, connected. Energy flowed into him, His body glowed gold and black. His voice rang out over the ship. You hesitated, I do not. I will bring order, control, perfection. The Archon stared in awe. He's a superior version, John yelled. He's a weapon you lost control of. Sierra threw John a pulse rifle. What's the plan, boss? John took the rifle. We stop a god before he rewrites the galaxy. They entered the Matrix chamber. The entire floor was floating in light. Data swirled in the air. Stars flickered around 7B like ghosts. John stepped forward. I don't want to kill you. 7B opened his glowing eyes. That's why you're weak. No, John said. That's why I'm real. The fight was short, brutal. John wasn't stronger. But he knew something 7B didn't: empathy. In the final moment, John let go of his weapon. I forgive you, he whispered. That single human moment, that raw, painful choice, cracked 7B's control. The Matrix hesitated, and John used that moment to slam the emergency deactivation code. A massive pulse of white energy shot out. B collapsed. So did the Matrix. The whole galaxy went quiet. 6 months later, the ship now floated in neutral space, a refuge, a peace station. John didn't claim any throne. He helped others build their own. Sierra led a new alliance, not of empires, but communities. B survived, rebuilt, no longer enhanced. Now simply, Ben. He worked in the ship's garden, quiet, learning, and laughing, sometimes. John finally got his noodles, hot, spicy, with extra flavor packets. He ate them on the deck, staring at the stars. He didn't need to rule them. It was enough to be among them. And so the legend grew, not of a warlord, not of a god, but of a man who could have ruled the galaxy, and chose not to. They still called him the Bull, but now it meant something else. Hope.